How Bizarre is intended for mature, open-minded audiences only. If you are easily offended, we suggest you turn this wacky shit straight off.
Turn around, bright eyes.
Oh boy, is that ever perfect to start the show, because I'm giving you guys people have been requesting this for a while. I don't know why it's taken me this long to get to it with How Bizarre, because I don't think we've done this with How Bizarre. I think we stopped doing this back at Tales from the Space Pod days, but I'm giving you guys a round of the lyrics game.
Oh, fuck.
1984 edition. So I think it's always hard, and I didn't get a chance. I tried to run this by people today like you do, Chris, and I didn't have any, no one got back to me. So, but I feel like I feel like these are fairly easy, but you don't know until you know. So we'll find out. Hopefully it's not super easy, but I don't think it's super hard. There are definitely some gimmies.
I suck at these, man. I'm always surprised at how fucking little I know about everything.
Well, we'll see, because I picked some very well-known songs, but they are from 1984. But before we get to that, you are currently car shopping, but you're not in the market to buy necessarily. Are you typically a leaser?
No, so I leased the car I'm currently in, which is a lovely 2018 Mazda CX-5. That was great. It's a perfect dadmobile for me, but it also looks kind of cool.
Yeah, and it's not a big, hefty thing, but it looks safe enough.
It's not an SUV. It's, I guess, what you would probably call a crossover. It's like that size between a sedan and an SUV. So it's like still kind of small, but big enough where I can fold the seats down and have like a hatchback.
Sure.
Anyways, my last one of my coworkers is a very avid. She's very good at car shopping. She's very knowledgeable, and she said, "Try getting a lease. See how you feel about it." So I was like, "All right, I'll try a lease this time." And here's my experience with the lease. So a lease basically says, "I'm gonna have this car for 3 years. I may have a down payment associated with that, and I'm gonna have a monthly payment like I would a car payment. And at the end of that 3 years, I come back with the car, and here it's yours, and I don't owe you any more money, and that's that. As long as you haven't damaged the car, gone over a certain amount of agreed upon miles, or things like that. Anything that would reduce the value of the car.
I think that part would make me nervous. Feel like every little truck that goes by is like, "Ooh, don't ding the paint."
And that's the thing, is I've been very, very nervous, and the real problem is like, I don't know, 8 months after I got it. It snowed, and I went to work, and I tried to get back home, and as I was getting into my neighborhood, I slipped in the snow and kind of like drifted into a snowbank, and a tiny little crack appeared in the bumper, which means the whole bumper has to be replaced to be fixed. So, and I've had it quoted, and I know what it's going to cost, and it's ridiculous, and so it's something I've had a lot of anxiety about, because I know that they're what they'll do is they'll agree to take care of that as long as I buy something new with them or do another lease. And I don't know if I want to do another lease. And I'm finally in this position. Go ahead.
Well, I'm just curious what's the benefit of the lease? Okay. Is it a lower payment?
Yes. And like I said, this is the first time I've ever done it. But they showed me what the price was to, the monthly payment would have been to buy it outright. And I think I was saving between 30 and 35, or maybe even 40, not quite 40, like probably 30% of that cut.
Okay.
And then at the end, they offer to sell you the car. If you've liked it, you can just buy it from them. And so you do end up, it's for somebody that probably likes to be in something new frequently, and is somebody that also is used to having a car payment. Like, to be frank, I think I have had a car payment since I've been 21 years old. I've never not had one, so now I'm in this position.
Isn't that funny?
See,
I've had 3 cars, and they were just really bottom outright.
My truck I bought outright, and it feels really good.
It's a great gig if you can do it, but most of us can't. Oh. I was just in a particular. I mean, there was only one car that I really bought, and that was the Jeep, and I got it used for $8,000. And I just happened to have that money because we had refinanced. That's part of what we planned on doing with that money. But for the most part, if your car blows up and you need a new car, that's almost never an option for the average schmo. Certainly wouldn't be in my life.
If you were able to buy it outright now and have it yours, the turnaround, could you make more selling it independently?
No, they make you they determine the price of the vehicle in the lease. Like, so they say, and at the end of your lease, if you want to buy it, you can buy it for this amount. And it's always more than what that car will actually be worth at the end of the lease.
No, that's
yeah, exactly.
So that makes sense.
It sucks. Yeah, I guess so, right? But it feels a little weird. So I've been like, I am in a position where if I wanted to buy, like, a fucking car outright, I could. I've been, strangely, since Logan was born, saving a lot of money. Like, I'm just socking money away because fucking A, man, it's scary being a parent. And so, like, I have a little cash saved up, and I could do that if I wanted to, or I could fucking just buy something low key, but I can't help but, like, I have been that guy that secretly low key does want to have some kind of, not like anything crazy, but I would love to have like a Tesla. I know that is crazy.
Yeah, you want something fun, not just a car.
Yeah, and I've been looking at Audis, like a used Audi, because I think they're fucking cool. If I'm gonna have to have the dadmobile that gets the groceries, I want to look a little cool doing it. I'm at that age. Fuck. So I don't know.
Yeah, amongst your Subarus and your Dodges.
I don't know.
Like those,
I'm just feeling
something a little more exotic.
I hate car shopping. I have to turn the car.
It kind of is the worst. It's funny because it should be, if you are in a position, if you have the money, and it's not like an emergency thing, you're like, fuck, I can't believe I got to do this. But it should be like one of the most fun experiences. But it really is. I think most people despise it. You know who doesn't despise it? Leah.
Who?
Leah fucking loves buying new cars, and she gets like a new one every 3 to 4 years.
I don't know
she always
if you
gets a new car.
To see. I posted about this on my Facebook page, and TJ popped in with, like, I don't know, 5 posts of tips. Like, and they were well thought out, well written tips. And I was like, fucking Christ almighty. And Bridget just chimed in. She's like, you need to take TJ with you.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, absolutely. There are people that just do it. It's just like a thing they do, and it's smart. I guess it's got the benefits, part of the benefits of leasing. Like, maybe if the money thing works for you and you like change, if you want to upgrade to a new version every 3 to 5 years, leasing could work out that way. But you can also just do that with buying a new car and trading it in. And, it's not like flipping, because the value always decreases, but it usually, they hold enough for a collateral that you're not going that much more out of pocket, if at all, if you're going to wheel and deal to drive away with something new. And that's what Leah's done ever since I've known her. She's had 8.
I've never been able to do that.
Well, 6 or 7 cars since I've known her, and she just drives what she drives for a while, and then she's like, "All right, time to get a new one."
The thing about a Tesla is that it would be a really good investment, because I would think that it would appreciate. Everybody wants one. It's just like,
they hold their value. But the things I worry about with that are like repair and battery life and stuff. Like,
that's always a trade-off with your more exotic cars. But Lyle's got a good point, because
you're kind of beholden to their whole ecosystem.
I don't see a lot of used Teslas around here. I don't see a lot of.
I've been looking, man. Let me tell you, I saw one today for $38,000 in Port Orchard. It was like, and it was a 2013 with a lot of miles on it.
Yeah, well, that tells you something. If you don't see them popping up all over the place.
The mileage on those are different than cars, though, because they're electric.
It's true.
Yeah, that's true.
I don't know how any of that stuff works.
I don't know, actually, the whole theory between the mileage in an electric car versus a gas, because it would be different, because it's different.
Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you what, if you're a listener if you're a listener and you have some good pointers for car buying, please hop onto our Facebook and leave comments on this the post for this show, which has been really fun, getting people for prizes. I've been loving seeing more comments on our posts. That's been really cool.
Been fun. Or better yet, if you are a car salesperson, and you got some insider points, maybe some tips and tricks to say what to look for, what not to look for, because I don't know if you, I suppose when we first started this podcast, I was probably still working with car dealerships to some degree, but it wouldn't have been nearly the degree, because my first real job with Wenatchee World outside of the packaging, outside of the mailroom, was advertising photographer. And I basically, 90% of that job was taking car photos, and I would see the charm switch just flip when they realized who I was. They'd be like, "Hey buddy, what are we looking?" And I knew that thing was
Because they
that
thought
existed.
you
But I was
might
shocked
be buying a car.
with how, once they figured out who I was, they're like, oh, fuck this guy. And then they just walk away. But even better was when I was in the showroom and I would hear what they're all saying about the the customers out in the, it's like, and it's like right out of a fucking movie. It's like, this one's got chump written all over him, or they would be straight up racist and say, yeah, dream on, fella, you're never going to afford that car. If a person of a certain ethnicity came up, it was crazy. It was kind of shocking to watch.
Yeah, I do worry about getting pretty womaned right out of like a Tesla dealership, just
well,
like
you are a pretty woman-ish man. I thought you were going to go with Middle Eastern because that came right after the racist thing. But
get fucked. Yeah, I love that. If you have any experience or you have a story, fucking post it. We'll read it. It'd be great.
Yeah,
maybe I'll learn something.
It would all be
also
helpful.
If you want to sell me a Tesla super cheap because you love us, yeah, cool.
It's true. You never know.
Sponsor.
It's worth
Tesla
throwing it
sponsor.
on. Let's get Tesla on board here. It's like, do you have any idea how many hundreds of people
Are
hear
you
our
listening,
show?
Elon?
Please, Elon.
Yeah.
Maybe
love-
Grimes is listening.
Support you.
Grimes would be more likely to be listening. Well, I didn't bring any news stories today because I have my, it's going to be a 10 question, or I guess a 10 round game of the lyrics game, but we can talk whatever you guys want to share. Until then, John Mark, did you bring us some tasty tabloid headlines?
I don't have the magazine
Motherfucker.
because things have been a little chaotic around my house the last couple days, and so I don't.
You don't
We've
have
been,
the magazine? There's one magazine that you were using? This
well,
all came from the same one? Oh, that's amazing.
Well, I get it every week.
Oh,
and
that's right.
Is that magazine called The Internet?
It's called The Week. But we've been kind of fostering this dog for the last 10 days or so.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's a long story, but he needed to get neutered and have some shots and stuff. And so we agreed to watch him while that stuff happened, take him to the vet and whatnot. And he's like an 8-month-old pup who was never taught not to bite
anything. Yeah.
And his owner probably was obviously not the best person.
Mm-hmm.
So he just thinks it's cool to just like bite at you, not like bite, like he's not trying to bite you, but he bites hard, right? Because he thinks that's how you play. And I have some fucking PTSD right now, let me tell you.
Oh, I know that life.
And
that's why I'm a fucking cat person.
It's just been,
can have similar stories.
It's been a little nuts.
Exactly what John Mark's going through is that those dogs' teeth right now at that age are very, very sharp. They're like little pins.
Yeah,
dude, they're
so
fresh
sharp.
and they're fresh and shiny and white
Super
and
sharp.
hard and sharp.
Oh baby. They're like little pin cushions.
Yeah. Ripley did permanent nerve damage in one of my arms when she was a tiny little puppy, the cutest little fucking thing. But, she's got that. We still don't really know. When Leah picked her up, they told her that she was a lab rottie. I don't think it's pretty clear she's more of just like a Doberman mutt, but she's got those heavy jaw muscles, and holy shit, even from a tiny puppy, that shit was it was like no joke, like legitimate injuries. And I got permanent damage in one of my fucking arms because of it. Yeah, that was what, 5-6 years ago. Yeah, I don't envy you. Are you making headway?
No. We're just, since he had his surgery, we're just keeping him on his medications to try to keep him kind of semi-sedated,
pacified.
And then we just if he starts getting bitey, we just put him in his crate. And you're like, okay, you're in your crate now,
Yeah.
And I don't like doing it, but that's what you got to do.
That's what you got to do.
What choice do you have? But so we're trying to organize him going somewhere else as soon as possible, because we're only supposed to have him for about this amount of time anyways. So
it's amazing when you can see that working, because Ripley, after all those injuries, and it just seemed like hopeless, if you stick to it and you keep at it, at some point you can put like a meatball right in front of their face, and they'll wait for you to tell them that it's okay to take that meatball, and then when they do it, it's like that sideways mouth, gentle thing where you get more tongue than anything.
That's what's so weird about
test Ripley on that.
This little guy is that like he's just like, I want to bite everything. And so aside from that, it's like when you have him out of his cage, it's like having a toddler. You have to constantly be watching him because he gets into everything, wants to bite everything, wants to rip everything apart, and you're just like, it's fucking exhausting.
Yeah.
And but the thing is, when you tell him to sit and you have a treat in your hand and you give the treat to him, he's as gentle as a little mouse.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Well, it's just like kids. That too is like kids. They can behave when they're either going to get something as a reward, or you know, things have gone too far and you have to lash out in anger, and everyone's like, oh fuck, I better do this now. It's like the age old thing. Well, why didn't you do it the fucking first time? Life would be better. Yeah, it's like having a little baby for a while that wants to kill you. Doesn't know it wants to kill you, but especially those puppies for the bigger kind of dogs.
He's a lab. We think he's a lab pit bull mix. He looks more lab than pit bull. He's got that kind of a pit bully kind of face. You know what I'm saying? But he's definitely strong little fella, and
very one-sided minded too.
The one saving grace about him, the one thing, is that when you put him in the crate, he doesn't whine for more than a couple seconds, and he might bark once, but then he'll just flop down and be quiet. So that's like
yeah, for sure. You got to have.
So, anyways, I'm a little addled.
You're little rattled, huh? Yeah. It's like a single parent. You got single parent syndrome right now. Where it's just like kind of what Christopher was talking about. Like, I just need to escape in this here room, not have to deal with the thing. Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I got a lot of friends.
At least your little kid's not gonna like jump at you and bite you and like cause nerve damage. Like, I hope.
The other day, the daycare lady told me that my son literally grabbed a piece of shit out of his diaper and was like, "I have a present for you," in his hand. Okay, that's what I'm dealing with.
I can't tell you how many times the girls leap off of or onto Monads. Just, playing and razzling around. And it's just like, I have a bit of PTSD because of that. So now it's like when playtime starts, I'm like, I'm always kind of like, clenching my fucking legs together and just trying to position myself so that can't happen as much, but they find a way, man. Always jabbing shit in your face. Yeah, kids are pretty fucking brutal. They don't know the boundaries yet. Go ahead, Chris.
He walked up to me yesterday and full on looked me in the face, wound up, and punched me in the dick. Like, never losing eye contact.
And I'm like, wind up.
Yeah, like I was like, what's he doing? Never done it before. And I'm like, oh, I double over in pain, and he's immediately like, I'm sorry, Daddy, but he doesn't understand because I don't think they get the nut pain like that.
I don't think later. A little bit later. They got to drop first. But my friend's kid did that when he was about Logan's age, maybe a little older. He just ran up to me the second I walked in the door. I was like, "Oh, hey, little guy, how's it going?" No! He just ran. It's one of those split level homes, and just as I was like on the split level, he leveled my split and went running away. Like, those little tiny guys in that old school Nintendo game Kung Fu. You remember that?
Only old fucking nerds like you and I are gonna have any idea what the fuck you're talking about.
Got it on my Crackman machine right now. I beat that game for the first time in my entire life, like a couple months ago.
Just they used to have it down by the old theater, Columbia Theater.
Yeah, they used to have it on one of those 10. What was it? The 10 play choice.
Is that the one where there's like waves of guys coming at you and you like kick them and punch them?
Yeah, when you get them off you, it goes
with snakes and shit.
Well, the girls are calling me on a walkie-talkie. Hang on just a sec.
Not a lot of people remember, but there was a gas station that used to be right next door to the Columbia Cinema.
Literally.
and then it became a Domino's. But there was at one time when it was the gas station, it had it was like a quickie mart. You go in and get your stuff, but they had two stand-up consoles, and one of them was that particular game.
Yeah, the one down on June Street. Is that what you're talking about?
No, that's the one right next. It was on Grant Road. It was right next door to the Columbia Cinema. It used to be a gas station. And that was early years. That was during like Ghostbusters, Top Gun, when they were playing those kind of movies. And then as it got a little bit older, I think it turned into a Domino's. And now it's a dentist.
Yeah.
It's a dentistry. But back when it was a gas station.
Oh, that's right. It was like an express lane.
Yeah, it only had like 2 pumps out front, but they had that standing console in there. Because I remember that's the game that I'd spent all my time playing.
Yeah. They had one in the little mini mart that was out of somebody's house. They used to call it something terrible because we were kids and we were terrible, but there's a special needs guy that worked down there. I'm sure you could do the math. I won't relay it here, but I was shocked to walk in there one day and then they had one. That was the first time I ever played Super Mario Brothers. The original one was on the arcade console. Yeah. Old times, back when 13-year-old Ronnie could buy a pack of cigarettes. No one would card him. No one would care. That place wouldn't even card you after the laws changed for a while. No. But because it was out of someone's house, this is crazy to think about now. I drive by it all the time, and I'm like, God, that was such a fun, weird little store. And I replicated a lot of the candy shop aspect when I first set up Radar Station in my house to remind me of that little store. But they just had a little rack of cigarettes, so you got what you got. If you showed up there and they had Marlboros and Camels, that was like a home run. It was rare. And even then, you'd probably get like stuck with Marlboro, menthol, and Camel Bear ass. Usually had to settle for Winston's. I smoked more Winston or Pall Malls. They always had Pall Malls because no one wanted them. But anywho. Well, good luck, John Mark. Watch those nerve points because it's added to my complete breakfast of misery. Getting older, having that puppy, that one fucking bite. She bit me over and over and over again, but there was one that just shot a bolt of lightning all the way up my arm, and it really never stopped hurting. Lyle, you got any stories you wanted to share before we get on?
Well, I was thinking the only way I got Max to stop doing that is that I put on a glove and he would bite me and I would grab his lower jaw. And then
I wish I had one. It would have saved this fucking injury.
Stupid because he couldn't do anything. His lower jaw is his force, right? He's not going to headbutt you to bite you. So you just look at you stupid. And I would do that every time he'd start getting bitty, like bitey.
Yeah.
I just by the jaw right there at the front of his jaw and just not hard. I just hold it in place and he couldn't bite. So he just kind of, what am I doing?
Yeah.
And he just he quit doing it. He doesn't bite or do anything like that anymore for sure.
Yeah. It's a fascinating process and you got to be the alpha. I mean, that's the whole point. Just like children, they're constantly testing you and they're constantly pushing the boundaries to find out, well, who's in charge here? How much power do I have? How much control do I have? That's the pecking order of nature. Humans do it in a slightly different way. It's almost more like, what can I get? What can I get away with? But there is a power thing to it as well. But with nature, it's literally just who's the alpha? Who's in charge? There's only one. And sometimes they have to do battle, sometimes to the death to find that out.
They're a pack animal. So it's like one of those things. You have to be alpha or else they're just going to bite all your furniture.
Yeah, they will alpha you if you don't alpha them. That's 100% accurate. And you got to keep up on it. I still have to sometimes remind Ripley to not walk through the door before I do. I put her on that leash. She's all gung-ho to go out. I'll make her stop, calm down, and wait for me to walk through the fucking door because I'm the fucking king, bitch. You sit there and you wait for the king to tell you that you can come out the door. And she usually does it, if I give her a look. But to this day, years and years of doing this multiple times a day, she'll still just run ahead if I don't give her the right posture. It's just like a never-ending testing the boundaries. It's a science to it, though. Lyle, did you have some news stories?
Yeah. I was really busy today, and I got home late, and it was like 2-3 o'clock, and I was like, all right, I'm gonna find something. I laid down for a bit and fell asleep, and I'm like, shit, I need something to eat, and I'm like, God, I'm sitting in line. I had to go to Wendy's, because I missed her. I haven't been having had any Wendy's in a while.
So. Haven't eaten Wendy in a while, huh?
I haven't eaten Wendy in a while. So, and I was
by
looking
the
at
way,
my clock.
before I'm sorry to interrupt you, but you remember a couple? I know I shared this with you guys over the text, but remember a couple episodes ago where we just happened upon the idea of some sort of depiction of all of the fast food mascots having an orgy. Not 2 days after that, I come across something on somebody that I'm friends with on Instagram that posted just that. It had like everybody there, even the Colonel. There was one that they had that we hadn't talked about. Well, he even put the Colonel in his fuck painting, and it was a painting of. It was like
there, even the Colonel.
You know what the Colonel said? He's like, "Yeah, that Wendy, she's finger looking good."
Wendy was the only one not represented. So I was like, God, there's just no original ideas. There really aren't. Okay, go ahead, Lyle. Sorry to cut you off there.
So I'm scatterbrained and late, so I'm bringing a story. But like, I was telling you guys that I've been in dialysis. Holy crap! I got nothing but time. Did you hear that?
I heard something.
An ad trying to sell me a mattress.
You were talking about orgies. Dung gong bong.
Oh, that's another thing I want to talk about too, real fast, because I know that story will be there and it'll stay there. I texted you guys last night about like how we thought about when we would talk about shit, and then all of a sudden Facebook would be spamming you full of shit.
Yeah,
there's actually a setting that is in Facebook. Now, if you kids want to follow at home, you could do it with me. But if you go to your main Facebook page and you click on the very far mobile, if you go to the very far right where it's the three little slashes, you open that up, and then it'll take you into your settings. If you scroll down, you go to settings and privacy, and then you, I believe you go into settings, scroll down a little bit farther, and it'll take you down to your Facebook information. And there's a little place called Off Facebook Activity. Now, if you click on that, it'll open up and it'll say your Facebook activity. It logs everything you do offline. Whatever you're doing offline, you don't even have to be on Facebook. What it does is capture all your cookies from all the sites you go to, be it eBay, be it Amazon, be it do whatever. And that's how they filter your ads. How they flood your shit with ads. So what you do to that is you click on manage your offline or your off Facebook activity. First clear the history. There's a little button that says clear history, clear it. And then right above it, hit the manage, and that'll take you to a little toggle switch if you want to turn it on and off. And I would suggest all you people at home to turn it off.
Interesting. I wonder if that actually works. I've been watching that brand new documentary series on Netflix called Spycraft, and they went into a little bit of the Snowden era, and like the NSDA or John Michael, I'm sure would know if he wasn't in the bathroom, but
NSA.
Is it the NSA? That doesn't sound right for some reason. Anyways, all these entities that are spying on American citizens, for whatever use, selling, buying and selling. But what are those chips? The IR field chips? Something like that, where it's like they're all over in airports now. There's this really interesting RF chips.
RID,
yeah, something like that. RFID chip.
RFID square things that you just scan.
Well, they're like remote. You don't have to actually scan it. You don't have to actually put it in a reader. It's near field, sort of like AirDrop is with the Apple, how you can get two iPhones together. And but this is stuff that's happening in a clandestine way. But they were talking about how almost every major city at their airport, they have a Wi-Fi tower that's strictly for the airport to capture your phone data as you walk by, and then as soon as you're out the door, it'll ping to the nearest Wi-Fi tower that is like a public or a Verizon or whatever Wi-Fi tower. And so it's like, well, to do what with that information? It's all being harvested. I don't know what the official explanation is, but what they theorized in this documentary, or what they flat out said, was that this information has been used to know when criminals have landed, or people who are wanted have landed, or going backwards to look for missing persons. And it's like, all it really tells you, I don't think it's like reading anything crucial. It's just like taking a pop off your phone saying Ron Evans just walked by here and at this exact time. And I thought, well, that's something I never heard before. And then it just went on from there, like all these little things that are happening everywhere. And, you know, a lot of these places like convention centers and hotels where you log into their Wi-Fi, there's all the shit in this fine print that sometimes you see, sometimes you don't, that gives them full access to your phones. And they can do the same thing that Facebook is doing, where they could access your activity and get a wind of when you're heading in one city or another and start bombarding you with their specific targeted advertisements for you, along with anything else nefarious.
So you're saying all my dick pics?
Oh, that's like fuck's that Tom Cruise movie? You know what I'm talking about?
Minority Report? No.
Minority Report, right? Is that the one where like they walk by the ads and it's like there's like the ads and they like start talking to the person like, oh hey, check this out.
Yeah, you had fun in Mexico last week. Yeah, crazy fucking shit, man.
Anyway, this whole thing came about either with the film Where update just this last month, or it was from what I believe and what I was told when I read that specific article to go through that was within this last week when you were forced to re-log in.
To log in, yeah. That was weird, wasn't it?
It was activated. That's when this thing was activated.
I've talked to quite a few people that said they never had that. Did you, Chris, John Mark, did you guys have to log in inexplicably to your Facebook this week or last week?
Yeah, I did. It happened to me on my phone. I was like, what the fuck is this shit?
Yeah,
very interesting, isn't it? Very interesting. We're such chumps for the... and, you know, it's hard. Like, what are you going to do about it? What are you going to say about it? It's like, you signed up. Like, we know this shit to some degree. We don't know, you know, all the dark web type stuff that's going on, but we know the stuff that they do tell us about is still pretty fucked up. But we say, yes, sir. Yes, sir. Go ahead. Every fucking time, because we don't get the fun stuff. We can't play with the toys if we don't sell our soul.
Well, I've been getting a lot of ads to MeWe. I guess it's a new social network.
Jeez, do we really need more?
I don't think I
haven't heard of that one.
And delve into it because it just seems like another, you know, it's either gonna, you know, explode and be like the next new Twitter or.
Yeah, I tried TikTok and I can't get it.
I can't stand TikTok.
Well, TikTok is funny because it's just a video Instagram. I mean, that's all it really is. But everyone I see using it is doing the same thing in that they are doing these lip syncs to either like movie dialogue or. I was like, well, that's an interesting thing that almost everybody's using it for. Of course, there are some exceptions. I haven't really played around with, you know, who I'm following right now. I think I've got like 20 followers on TikTok at the moment. Or most of my friends that are on it, they got like tens of thousands. And there's something interesting there's something weird about the follower numbers on TikTok, because I'm not saying that my friends aren't great and they don't deserve tens of thousands of followers, but they don't have that on Instagram and they don't have that on Facebook and any other place. So what's up with TikTok that everyone has 10 times the followers than they do anywhere else?
I don't know.
I'm not legitimate.
On it. I've never. I've seen the
bots,
TikToks.
Man,
bots. Got them old.
Yeah, I've wondered about that because that was a problem with Instagram for quite a while. And now my Instagram is a little bit quieter than it used to be since they weeded out a lot of those bots. But yeah, another app that I had to sell my soul to. God knows what's in that one. It's probably listening to us right now.
All right. Well, I'll go into the story that I was originally going to get to. So I was telling you guys that usually that I sit in dialysis. So I got 4 hours, man, every other day that I got nothing to do. So I've been studying a lot of ancient Egypt and just like lost Atlantis. Where the hell could it be? There's some interesting, and this is just bullshit talk right now, but like there was an interesting video, a guy that posts on YouTube, and it's called the Eye of Africa. Now, if you're not really wised up on the whole Atlantis theory, it's kind of more based. They think it's in the meridian, maybe just off the left side of Africa. But there's the thing called the Eye of Africa, and it's this huge, like inner circle design. It's super old, super old, but it's in the middle of fucking nowhere. Middle of this desert area. It would take you 2 days to get out there.
Like some sort of glyph that you can see from the sky or something?
It's just circle within a circle within a circle within a circle. And it's basically how Plato described Atlantis. It was a city that was in like 5 rings, and it had a mountainside.
Yeah, it clearly looks like some sort of structure was there at one point.
Yeah. Are you looking it up?
Yeah. I don't know if I've ever seen this before, or if I did. It does look familiar. But
doesn't it? Well, I'd never seen it before either until I heard that theory that it could have been with higher oceans, and if that land itself was underwater, could be a place for Atlantis. But the other thing too is like a lot of how they got the material to build the pyramids in Egypt. It seems like it'd be really, really rough to drag it or roll it, to get it, these giant stones. And what a lot of people believe that was there was cut waterways, and they would put them through ships and sail them into Egypt to those plateaus to carry those stones to the pyramids to be built. So it's just really fascinating to me. I came across this story of the Aztec lines, which we all pretty much know about. They're in the southern Peru, and they're these giant, like there's a spider and a monkey.
Oh yeah, the Nazca Lines.
Yeah, the Nazca Lines, and they're all clear up, way up. You can see them up high, but on the ground, it's not very, it's not as breathtaking,
right,
from the ground. But what they were saying recently, as of recent, is that these lines were actually waterways, ancient waterways, to get water. The civilization, people that lived in that area
made
at that
them
time.
pretty, like we do. I mean, that's what people do. We design things. We make them
of a religious kind of,
ceremony.
This is the bird. We'll celebrate, and it gives us this life breathing water, kind of thing.
Well, I'm looking at those right now, and it's like I can see how I can picture them filled with water, but what would they be doing with them? Because it doesn't look like they lead or connect to anything other than
it was a complex irrigation system, so it was like basically probably just feeding plants and whatnot around them.
Just ditches that they carved for collecting
to survive.
Sure,
where they're at, it's pretty indigenous for not having a lot of water. It's a desert, so.
Yeah, the whole changing levels of the ocean over the eons is a fascinating thing, because we're still that set well with you, Chris. Imagining where we're at right now at one point would have been giant dinosaur fish
big time
under a sea. I mean, probably. I don't really know.
No, they found.
I think that's part of the theory.
Sharks,
yeah, all the shit was underwater at one point.
Well, no, they found shark bones in like fucking the hills of Montana. So it's like prehistoric, obviously.
Yeah. What did they just find? They found something in Washington that I think everyone was freaking out about. I think it was a dinosaur. I also saw one of these dinosaurs that had it was like one of the most preserved dinosaur fossil of all time, like complete.
I seen that too, but I don't remember where it was.
It was those spiny back ones.
Mm-hmm.
One of those most preserved dinosaur. Yeah. Maybe this isn't new and it just came across my 110 million year old dinosaur is believed to be best preserved fossil ever. And it's basically a whole dinosaur. Its head, like you can see its fucking head as if it was alive. It's not doesn't look like a skull. It looks like a lizard gator head, and its plates and spines are all intact.
So when it looks like a roly-poly, it's like
this is a couple years old. Oops. I didn't mean to open up that video. Yeah, it does look like it could be a giant. Wouldn't that be a sight? Seeing like a fucking 15-foot roly-poly. Holy snikes, with those spikes. It looks like spikes. If you could roll up in a ball and roll over your opponents, game over, son.
Sonic, man.
That'd be like a steamroller with spikes. If you're going to get run over by a steamroller, I think I'd prefer it to have spikes. I think that'd be a little quicker. Like, just pierce my brain. Don't flatten me out starting with my feet.
Little chunk.
Used to torment me when I was a kid. It was one of the things that tormented me, the idea of like slowly being run over by a steamroller starting at your toes.
I will never.
Yeah, that'd be the fucking worst, dude.
I will never, ever not think of a Zamboni when you say something like that, and think of that. God, it was Austin Powers with the Zamboni. No, look coming at him. He's like 20 feet away. Yeah. No, don't get me now, and just barely slowing, kind of creeping up.
I haven't seen those shows.
Zamboni should to go too.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to be under any machinery. I suppose I just want to die peacefully in my sleep. Well, I'm going to need my phone for the lyrics game. Did you have anything else, Lyle?
No, not really.
Let me go grab that.
You guys, before could we touch on this GameStop stock story? Have we all seen this?
Are we getting rich? Are we pulling in?
I don't know what you're talking about, but go ahead.
John Mark, are you with us?
John Mark.
Yes, I've heard of it, but I don't understand the stock market like at all. So this whole thing to me is like fucking dark sorcery.
I was really banking on John Mark being able to explain this one. Let's let the kettle cook a bit, and we'll talk about it next week.
Okay,
I can tell you, like, I've actually kind of been reading about it a little bit, kind of all day. But I still don't really fully understand it because, like I said, dark sorcery.
Yeah.
Is it some sort of scandal, or what? Like, what's the headline?
Well, yes and no. So apparently, GameStop stock was held by like a certain hedge fund company or something, and they were somehow some information got out about it to some people that were doing some research on this. And in some Reddit group or some Reddit sub forum that watches the stock market, and I don't know exactly what happened, but they knew that something was going to go down, so a bunch of people like bought GameStop stock, which is weird because that company's like going the way of the dodo.
Yeah, it's going the way.
And it actually like shot the way the fuck up, and people like doubled or tripled their money.
Mm-hmm.
But there's more to it than that, because it's like not like you can just sell it, because I don't know if you can sell it, I guess great, but like it's one of those things where it creates a bubble, and there's just all this like people on Wall Street are freaking out about it. All these like hedge fund bros are like, oh, this can't be, blah, blah. I don't know, dude. I don't, after that, I'm like, I don't know what the hell is happening here, but it seems crazy.
Well, we'll look into it, and maybe if there's more to the story coming out soon, we can bring that back up. Yeah, I don't know anything about it. Hadn't heard anything about it. But those things aren't really on my radar. Stock markets or video games.
Doesn't mean it's going to be accessible. It doesn't mean it's going to be
a huge GameStop is basically a pawn shop at this point. And it's
sure. But
it's not really, I mean, it's not a good company.
Exactly. I'm thinking like Hollywood blockbuster style.
That's what it was reminding me of too. It's like it's kind of a holdover of that era, a little.
I read that GameStop actually opened 2 years before Blockbuster Video did.
Isn't that really?
Crazy?
I love them. Don't get me wrong. I love them because that's where I go when I need a game. But
I don't feel like we saw them in Wenatchee until about the time Blockbuster was going away. I could be wrong. They weren't on my radar, but I suppose they wouldn't be.
Quite a while. Yeah, I missed Hastings. Jesus.
Yeah, Sarah and I just drove by it, and we're always miss it.
I don't buy physical games anymore. I just fucking download everything.
Yeah, I'm surprised they still make those. I feel like that has that not caught up to DVD? Like, is there technology that you can get on the disc that you can't get?
No.
No, it's going that way. I mean,
It
I
is
bought the most recent console I bought was the Xbox Series S, which does not have a hard drive in it. So like all content on that is digital only.
No, and that's PlayStation 5 is like you could buy either or. You could buy it with that actually CDs, or you could buy it where it doesn't even have a CD-ROM and a.
It was like I want to say it was like $100, $200 less than getting the one that had the disc drive in it. And the only reason that I would
even those words sound archaic, disc drive.
Yeah, at this point, the only reason like that I had a disc drive, I mean, the only thing I used the disc drive in my Xbox One for that I got like in 2016 or something, was for watching Blu-rays.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
The thing
and now more and more things are available just to stream that you don't even have to fucking watch your Blu-rays anymore, except if you have some like weird rare shit that's like like, which I do have a little bit of that.
Yeah,
but it's like
there are still some.
Almost anything you can find streaming somewhere. So
somewhere.
I was like, fuck it.
Woo.
Mm-hmm.
I got that Blu-ray.
Which one?
The Dude Bro Party.
Oh, Dude Bro Party Massacre. Yeah, I think that is streaming though up on Amazon now.
It is.
It might
I think it might even be on Shudder.
That's awesome.
The PlayStation 5, the thing about it, it's backwards compatible. So if you wanted to buy it, you would probably want to go with the disc drive to play your old games.
Yeah,
you know
that's
what I mean?
Good point.
Well, most of these consoles have backwards compatibility with the digital downloads. Like you can still get like
but you'd have to buy them again, right?
games.
Yeah.
Well, if you didn't have it in the first place,
sure.
That's what I'm saying. Like if you didn't have it in the first place, like there's a ton of like PS4 games and even PS3 games that I never played because like I kind of like went away from the Sony ecosystem after PlayStation 2 and went over to Xbox. I don't know why. I guess just because that's how it happened. I got one for my birthday, and I was like, okay, I'm an Xbox guy now.
Yeah, trader of the crown.
Xbox was fucking cool when it came out, man. I really liked it.
And like I'm not beholden to either system. Like I'm like this kind of guy who's sort of like halfway. I'm like kind of behind technology for the most part usually. So like my TV's usually like fucking 15 years old. Mm-hmm. So it's like, oh, fucking ultra 8K fucking blah. I'm like, I don't fucking what are you talking about? You know, like, I can't. To me,
I think that's exactly
growing
how
up
old my TV
from the age of Atari, like any fucking graphics that we have now are like fucking like blowing my mind. It's like, holy shit. You know what I mean? I don't need all the fucking bells and whistles. It's like, if I could have them, great, sure. But I don't feel like I gotta get the best and most. If I don't have fucking 60 frames per second, I'm fucking I just don't
like right
care.
Then and there. It's like you'll get it eventually, and
exactly.
There's no way you could possibly be caught up on all the awesome shit that's already out. So it is funny how there are two different kinds of people. That's true whether we're talking about iPhones or TVs or the latest Mac. There are just people that they pride themselves on that shit. It's like, oh, we got to watch the Steve Jobs announcement. Of course, this is going back a few years, but I remember those people.
The main reason that I bought a PlayStation 2 when that was kind of like the current, Sony system is because I wanted a DVD player.
Yeah.
I remember that being a selling point.
I obviously wanted the games too, but it was like I didn't have a DVD player. I was like, fuck these VHS tapes. I need something, I was like, oh, I get 2 for 1. All right,
I have 2 brand new computers in my house. One of them I spent almost $2,000 on. Well, about $2,000 on. Neither one of them can play any disc. They just don't do it anymore, with very, very few exceptions. I suppose there's probably add-ons. And of course, you can custom make anything, but
actually get
right out the dough, there ain't no fucking CDs no more.
I do think Apple is overstepping their fucking bounds, because like my MacBook doesn't even have USB drives or slots. It has the USB-Cs. It's like the ones that you can't. You know what I mean?
There was three times.
Yeah, that is bullshit.
So I had to buy fucking adapters. It's like fuck off.
Yeah, I agree.
Oh, and Apple has the iPhone. Go ahead.
Well, I was just gonna say Apple used to be one of those companies that I would sort of defend and stick up for, or not that you had to, but it's just like I was on Team Apple proudly. I don't feel that way about their products anymore. They work and they work well, but I think the PC. What am I trying to say? The technology and the quality of the PCs have caught up to where Macs are now. That wasn't true 10 years ago. Fucking certainly wasn't true 10, 15 years ago.
I also feel like they don't innovate like they used to. Like they're always playing it kind of safe. You know what I mean? Like, there's been nothing from Apple that has been like, holy shit.
There's nothing that's new that makes me say, wow, this is so much better than it used to be.
All I see with Apple anymore is this giant rake, and it launches over this giant fucking pit of money, and it just rakes it into itself. Because dude, like they have like $10,000 fucking monitors, which you could go buy out a $300 one and put it right next to it and be the same.
Yeah.
You know, it's just ridiculous.
Yeah. You're buying a name these days more than anything. It's really true.
I upgraded my iPhone 6 to the latest version of the iPhone SE, which I like. It's great. It's a great phone. However, it was one of those ones from the generation where they took away the headphone jack.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And the headphones can only plug into the lightning port where you plug in the thing to charge it. Here's the thing is that it has that NFC charging, so you can just stick it on the little pad and it charges.
Mm-hmm.
But if I'm not over at the pad and I'm on a call with you guys using my Apple headphones, I can't fucking charge my phone.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
or vice versa.
Because I can't plug it in.
like somewhere in their minds they're like, well, who wants to listen to their who wants to watch a movie with the headphones on while they're charging it? Like literally everybody does that at some point. But they just did that math. Like no one needs that. Fuck you.
Like Bluetooth headphones and stuff. That's what I use when I go to the gym. I use Bluetooth headphones to my iPad.
Yeah, my to buy more bullshit.
Well, it's just keep me cordless, so I don't have to yank my fucking headphones out of my head. You know, they're just my phone's in my pocket, and I got, you know, earbuds in, and they're Bluetooth, and I don't have to worry about it, any plugging of in.
Somebody left some Bluetooth iPhone earbuds at Radar Station. I tried to find the original owner when I moved out, but I still got them. I'm tempted sometimes to get out the alcohol and swabs and get that earwax out and start popping them in. But I hate their earbuds too. I think Apple also has the worst earbuds.
Yeah, they suck, dude. They fall out of my ears. I guess I have giant ear holes because these things do not fucking stay in my ears, and it's
that's good to know. I wondered if it was
tempted
just me.
I was not ever tempted to buy those Apple
the ear pods.
They're fucking wildly expensive. For
Skull
stuff.
Candy has always been my favorites. They're cheap, and you pop them in. They got the little mushrooms.
I normally use Bluetooth headphones, but I've tried it before when I was on a call with you guys, and you guys were like, "What the fuck are you talking through? It sounds like a tin can." So it's like I can't use my Bluetooth headphones to talk to you guys and charge my phone at the same time. So like,
it's starting to sound like a Dennis Leary bit. Well, why don't you grab your phones? Let's have some fun here. I'm curious to see what happens because you're going to need to send your answers here via the phone. Now, a few of these have a bonus question. So you're going to want to pay close attention to that. A good time to get caught up, or a good way to get caught up, right at the beginning. But starting with number one, the number one song of 1984 was Prince's When the Doves Cry. Now, this song contains the lyric, "Maybe I'm just like my father." What are the next two words to complete that line?
This is going directly to Ron, not to Open.
Just to me, yeah. Unless you want to share your answers.
I almost did it.
Maybe I'm just like my father. Two words to finish that line. Lyle has come across.
When the doves cry.
Christopher has answered, just waiting for John Mark. Well, I can say that...
I know this, but it's not coming to me, man.
Yeah, well, send me something. Two words.
Maybe I'm just like my mother.
I appreciate that Chris sent 3 words, but they were all wrong. Oh, John Mark came in right at the end with the right answer, which is, maybe I'm just like my father, too bold.
Too bold.
Christopher, you said he's never satisfied. I think that was part of the mom lyric. It's like, maybe I'm just like my mother. She's never satisfied. She's never satisfied. Whoa, deep taco. All right, so right off the bat, Chris is in trouble. No, plenty of time to catch up here.
Love it.
John Mark and Lyle are on the board with one apiece. Now, this next one, the very next song on the Billboard for the year, number 2 with a bullet, is Tina Turner's classic "What's Love Got to Do with It," which contains the line, "Who needs a heart when a heart?" What are the next 3 words to complete that line? Who needs a heart when a heart? All 3 of you got that right. When a heart can be broken. Mm-hmm. So, all right, yeah, I think that some of these are softballs, like I said, but hopefully we have a little bit of variety concerning the specifics.
Was it Bobby Brown, or was that that was Whitney Houston? Wasn't that? Damn it.
Oh yeah, the one that beat up on Tina was Ike.
Oh, Ike. Oh,
Ike, yeah, very, very troubled relationship, and seemingly not a very good guy, Ike Turner. Combined Tina and Turner. All right, moving on. Number 3. Phil Collins's enduring ballad "Against All Odds, Take a Look at Me Now" was a monster hit in 1984. Now complete this lyric, and for a bonus point, name the film that this song was written for. So send me the name of the film with your answer to the completion of this line. Wish that I could make you turn around and... What 3 words finish that line? Turn around and blank, blank, blank. Phil Collins, "Against All Odds, Take a Look at Me Now." And for the bonus point...
Can you do it again?
I wish that I could make you turn around and... blank, blank, blank. You know, I thought about meowing the lyrics.
Can you meow the words that we're missing?
Yeah, I will.
Wish that I could
make you turn around and meow, meow, meow. All right, John Mark guessed... it fits, and you got the movie right, but okay, just waiting for Christopher's answer. None of you are right so far. Turn around and meow, meow, meow.
It's in the middle. Well,
Lyle was very close.
Turn around and make you die.
Oh boy, you were all pretty close. So John Mark said, "Turn around and make me smile." And he got the movie right, which was "Against All Odds." Lyle said "make you cry," which is incorrect, but closer. And he guessed "your mom" for the movie. It's also incorrect. And Christopher guessed "see me cry." Oh, you did get that right. Yeah, it is "turn around and see me cry."
I did?
Yeah, unfortunately, it's funny.
I
was only seeing... I don't know why I thought you got it wrong. Turn around and see me cry.
Wow,
good song.
I totally fucking guessed.
Good song. Too bad you didn't get the bonus. You would be caught up now. Oh, that we are caught up. You would have taken the lead. So that takes you to, 2 across the board, and we are on question 4. Ghostbusters, of course, was a huge hit in 1984, and the song was hard to escape. Now, in the second verse, this one might be a little tough. Ray Parker Jr. sings, "If you're seeing things, meow, meow, meow." And another bonus question. Which well-known artist successfully sued Ray Parker Jr. for this song because it sounded exactly like one he had already recorded?
How many words is that? Is that 3 words? Or
3 words.
3
words. If you're seeing things, running meow, meow, meow.
Bustin' makes me feel good. Have you seen that? The parody?
Bustin' makes me feel good.
Yeah, that's
but I believe it, Lyle.
Bustin' does make you feel good.
Just type in "Bustin' makes me feel good." It's a Ray Parker parody, and he's like, "Bustin', bustin', 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 bustin' makes me feel good."
That's funny.
Yeah, they changed the lyrics around. It's fun.
Okay, John Mark has answered. Lyle, waiting for yours.
I don't know the guy trying to sue him. So.
Oh, well, you and John Mark both got the lyrics right. If you're seeing things, You're seeing things running in your neighborhood.
Who you gonna call?
Busting's fun. Is that how it goes?
Didn't I get that right too?
Makes me feel good.
Well, you said in the neighborhood. Let me ask you guys, do you think that's fair? And that's not technically right, but
what was it?
Close. In your neighborhood.
Not yet.
Well, I mean,
yeah.
You want to be dickheads about it?
Oh, wait a minute. No, you're all wrong. I was looking at the other line. I was going too far ahead. No, what it actually is. If you're seeing things running through your head. So you guys sang the first one. Sorry. So y'all got it wrong. Well, that's okay. Then we didn't have to do. But what do you guys think? Should we play rules where it's like the can be confused with your?
No, not at all. I think busting makes me feel good.
I think it's house rules.
Okay,
you just get to decide.
All right. Well, we'll stick with what I'll call Jeopardy rules, where you got to get it right. So yeah, if you're seeing things running through your head, completes the rhyme for the first verse. And the bonus point, no one got that either, was Huey Lewis with his song "I Want a New Drug." Ding, 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 ding. It's the exact same song. Yeah, and a lot of people didn't realize that until it was pointed out. And like, holy shit, it's literally the same song. At least the verse.
Shit! I didn't realize that was a bonus question. Sorry, I totally knew that.
Oh, well, you wouldn't have got it right anyway. You got to get the main question right for the bonus question.
Okay,
so.
Gotcha.
Talk about fucking a train wreck, man. Huey Lewis in the news, man. That guy was a fucking cokehead hard.
Oh, is he?
Oh,
I told you about that time that Huey Lewis sent me a letter.
He seems to be very successful and from all accounts to be a very nice guy these days.
Let me hear this.
Talk about
Yeah, when I was in, you remember Lyle, Mr. Anderson, yeah?
Yeah.
High school. He taught summer school, which I often had. It wasn't an elective, but he was friends with a guy who is a music producer. He's like a studio musician, but he's also a producer, and he is friends and collaborators with Huey Lewis. And at that time, I had just recorded the infamous Chicken tape that I know Lyle knows about, and just ridiculousness. And one of my very first recordings where I was really trying to like write songs and just stupid lyrics, singing about chickens and food and, just stupid shit, trying to find my way, getting comfortable with singing to my mom had a Tascam machine. So it was like my first dabbling in the recording world. And somehow
playing and singing at the same time, you were doing work.
Yeah. So this guy came to visit as part of summer school. And Mr. Anderson knew that I was interested in music and making some recordings, and he arranged a little meeting in like one of the little rooms, just shooting the shit. The guy was pretty cool. He was telling me about the music industry in general and his experiences with Huey Lewis. And I gave him a copy of the Chicken tape. He's like, "All right, I'll check this out." And months later, I got a letter handwritten from Huey Lou because they had taken it at some point. They had put it in. They're on a fishing trip. They all went on a big fishing trip, and they were on the boat, like drinking beers and just fucking around. And they popped this tape in, and it was me doing all my stupid songs. And Huey Lewis got a laugh at it. And the guy explained who it was, and he was a friend of this teacher. And it was like, yeah, this kid that I met with, and that was probably a weird experience for him. But I got this kooky little tape out of it, and so Huey took the time to write me a fucking letter. And unfortunately, I don't still have that letter because my first girlfriend that I moved in with when she kicked me out, it was not included in my box of Mystery Science Theater 2000 tapes and dartboard. I was like, well, where's my Huey Lewis? Talk about a pathetic
That's a damn
ronster.
Shame, man.
Pathetic ronster in circa 19. That would have been 95 or 96 when she dumped me. And I didn't have a car. I barely had a job. I literally had I tell the story all the time. That's no joke. I had a box of Mystery Science Theater tapes, my shitty Goodwill clothes, and some records, and my dartboard. But nowhere to be found was I had a whole box full of like song lyrics and just photos and shit. And I don't know what she did with those, but She started fucking the dude that lived upstairs, and he was always in there when I came by to try to get stuff. She would never let me in to look, and I just gave up. So, unfortunately, Huey Lewis letter to Ron, lost to time, but it was one of the biggest thrills of my youth. I still love telling that story. I dream one of these days of meeting Huey and being able to see if I don't really expect him to remember a silly little tape they listened to in the 90s out on a fishing boat, but you never fucking know.
That's like, pretty cool, though, that he took the time to actually sit down and write you a letter. I mean, who does that?
I thought so, too. Yeah. And a handwritten letter by Huey Lewis. I don't know if the news were on the boat. What do you think of this, news? Anyway, moving on. So, Duran Duran, all the rage in the early to mid 80s. Their hit, The Reflex, contains the line, "Why don't you use it? Try not to meow, meow." What are the two words I'm meowing there? Why don't you use it? Try not to... What? I had a feeling this was how this was going to go.
Wait. Can you meow again?
Wait, can you meow again? Words I never thought any adult man would tell me. Why don't you use it? Try not to meow, meow.
Oh, I think mine's probably wrong.
It's not. You're actually right, Lyle.
Am I right? Okay, good.
Mm-hmm. And you see, I had a feeling that you guys, I thought this might be a bit of a trick, and maybe it was for John Mark and Christopher, who both said lose it. I think a lot of people would guess that, but lose it is the next rhyme. This one is bruise it, which Lyle got right.
Yeah, you don't want to bruise your thing.
Don't want to try not to bruise it. And the next one is buy time, don't lose it. So that was a tougher one, but Lyle got it.
It's been a long time since I listened to Duran Duran and that song in particular, but that was like the first band. Honestly, Duran Duran was probably the first band that I really got into and had like multiple albums of, like bootleg on cassette, you know?
I think that might be true with me too. I guess the Beatles was before that. It was the only thing that had multiple versions of, but those are my dad's records. I inherited those. But yeah, seeking them out. Mm-hmm. Pretty sure Kiss might have been just a tiny bit before that, but my mom wouldn't let me buy those records, so I could buy Duran Duran.
When I was a kid, I saved my money for everything I did. I did a bunch of yard work, did a bunch of stuff, and I raised almost like $110 or $120.
American?
That's like being rich as a kid.
Yeah. Oh, God. Especially back then. It was 85, 84.
Oh, yeah. That's like $1 million
It's about this time. It's about this time we're talking about. And talking about. And I used to think, because you buy a cassette and it's $12, $10, even back then.
Yeah.
And I was like, and I was really, for some reason, I was always into like electronics and like pulling them apart and putting them back together and just weird shit like that. But I thought to myself, I said, you know what? If I could get a dual cassette recorder, I could record cassettes. Obviously, I could like record somebody's cassette on a blank tape. Mm-hmm. But also, you could always be on the fly for when you're trying to record like Casey Kasem's Top 10.
Oh, I did that very, very frequently.
Oh, yeah. So you record the shows. Sometimes they'd have live shows, and this is neither here nor there, but they would have like live concerts back then. They would air on the radio. I recorded
all that shit. I still have like a Neil Young concert that they play. I did that more with the classic rock station because that was all brand new back then. And so I was hearing a lot of those bands for the first time. The first time I heard Inagata Vita, I fucking shit myself. I was like, this band sounds like it's from space.
Sure.
And it was like, this. How could something be so psychedelic, man? I was so into all that shit, the psychedelic. And then I got into, the more... I guess more classic things like the Doors, and I was obsessed with that whole era, Jefferson Airplane. But it was like I was discovering it for the first time on the fucking radio. And I would record shit just because I didn't want to miss anything. Come back.
That was my very first purchase, though, of like really large purchase, like over $100 that I made, and I was saving. I didn't even know what I wanted. And I was just like, oh, I could have this cool He-Man like fucking Skeletor castle, or I could have a a badass remote control car.
Those years when you're going from being a little boy to a teenager, and it's like, you start choosing toys just a little bit less, and electronics.
I think it was Stan's, or maybe at the mall in Wenatchee, but I ended up getting Emerson dual cassette. Badass.
I miss boom boxes. I keep my eye out all the time for a decent, well-working boom box. And I'm surprised there aren't more companies making them. We're so 80s crazy right now. I know they make like the Bluetooth versions, and I've seen some that look kind of cool, but they either look cool, they don't sound good.
You want like something you can put on your fucking shoulder and
yes, I want a dual
street.
cassette. I want to make mixtapes. I want the full equalizer. I want the dancing lights. I want to break into electric boogaloo operation right here in my living room, bitch. That's what I want.
You want those big ass square speakers that separate?
Yes. Oh shit. Yeah. That was fancy as fuck, man. I had a turntable version of that. And it was huge, as you can imagine, but it was fucking amazing. Like it was a boombox, and it had like a snappable. You could snap it shut and flip up the handle and carry it around town. And that was my only record player throughout the entirety of the 90s.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. We used to, when we were kids, we'd go up to the pool, Eastmont pool. Mm-hmm. And so at summertime, it was only like 75 cents.
You got the girls. You had to crank your shit.
Yeah. Well, you could bring your boombox. And so you take your boombox and you stick it on the back 40. Out past the gate, where it had like you could lay out and get some sun.
Jesus Christ, we're senior citizens.
So fun.
You could take your bucket boombox.
Take the damn boombox.
Can of Pringles, some Nally chili dip. Yeah. Good times. Anyway, moving on. Number 6, Lionel Richie was also having a good year in 1984 when All Night Long was topping the charts. Now complete this very well-known and famous line to that song. We're going to party. Caramba, meow, meow. What 2 words are missing? We're going to party, caramba, meow, 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 meow. I guess that's more accurate with the syllables. And this is a bonus question. Bonus point if you can name the funk soul band from the 70s that Lionel Richie was in before his solo career took off. And I asked that part a little late, so I'll let you send a separate message for the bonus one. Party, caramba, meow, 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 meow. Come on and sing along. Not really Jamaican.
Wait, can you do a meow meow from the funk soul band he was a part of?
Well, I could just sing it. It's why I'm easy. I'm easy like Sunday morning. I do prefer Faith No More's version of that, by the way.
Can you meow for me anyways?
Meow, meow, meow. Meow, meow, meow. Meow, 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 meow. Yeah, here we go.
I'm just soaking that up.
Lyle's guess. Different song. Lyle guessed, hello, is it me you're looking for? Which was from the song Hello. Not quite right. Okay, John Mark and Christopher have weighed in. None of you guessed the band, though. Did you want to take a stab, or did you just not know it?
I don't know it.
I don't know it.
John Mark?
Once you tell us what it is, I'll be like, oh fuck.
Yeah, it's a no-brainer.
The lyrics are Latin, and I just don't know how to pronounce them. So,
well, their bigger hit, I think. Well, maybe Easy is their biggest hit, but they had that one Machine Gun that I hear all the time, which is like, it's got that keyboard. I think that one's instrumental, but that's the Commodores.
There you go.
Nobody got that, but Christopher and John Mark both got Fiesta Forever. Come on and sing along. So everyone's tied up again. Anybody's game. Getting down to it. Only 3 questions left. Another one with a bonus. I'll be a little disappointed if you guys don't get this bonus question. Now, Cyndi Lauper's mega hit "Girls Just Want to Have Fun" features this line The phone rings in the middle of the night. My father yells, what? Well, let's see. You know, I'm going to take that a little bit further. That may be a little bit too hard. My father yells, what you gonna?
Remember Lou Albano?
Well, you guys got it anyway.
Lou Albano.
Well, you kind of ruined my second part of the
oh, did I? No.
Well, of the question. The bonus question was going to be what famous wrestler played Cyndi Lauper's father in all of those videos. It was Captain Lou Albano. But so no one will get that bonus point. But you all got it right. What you gonna do with your life? Oh, daddy, dear, what's over there? Sean Mark went ahead and guessed Captain Lou Albano anyway. Anywho, well,
it's because he didn't say captain, so I was like, oh, I know that one part about it.
Yeah, well, that's true. That is true. But I was happy that you knew it. I'm guessing you guys would have gotten that.
Just like
I knew that. Yeah,
former wrestler.
I remember that well. Like I grew up watching those, like that era of MTV on videotapes that people would ship to Bangladesh.
Mm-hmm.
And I'd go to someone's house and just watch like fucking 8 hours of MTV. Just sit there like.
Well, just a couple left, and we once again are tied up. Hopefully, I don't have a tiebreaker, but we'll figure something out. Moving quickly to the rest of these. Bruce Springsteen's, I said Springsteen. Bruce Springsteen's Dancing in the Dark has the line, "You can't start a fire, you can't start a fire, meow, meow." And that is 3 words. You can't start a fire. What 3 words finish that one? I think this is a
unless you put shark.
Pretty easy one here. You guys were all fast on that one. You can't start a fire without a spark. There's guns for hire. Kind of sounds like my Sasquatch voice. Bruce Springsteen.
Yeah.
You can't start a fire.
I was always a fan of John Cougar Mellencamp. You know, there's always a camp for that. It was like who was better,
He
John
dropped the cougar.
Mellencamp or Springsteen?
Yeah, they were both from that same sort of Americana sort of vibe. You know, I didn't have this written down, but since we got one bonus taken away, I'm sure you all know where I'm going with this one. But what very famous actress made her, I don't know if this was a debut for her. I think it was. But she was in this video, and she's the one that Bruce spots in the crowd and pulls up to dance with her on stage. I know Christopher will know this one. Oh, he's already answered correctly. I knew he'd get that one, so I'm going to give him a bonus point there. Lyle, John Mark, you know that?
No idea.
John Mark got it too.
What?
So it was, in fact, Courtney Cox.
What?
Yeah.
Yeah,
a little cute.
I guess it proves to watch videos. I had no idea.
That was one of those that was just fucking unescapable. When I was finally had access to MTV anyway. All right. Van Halen's Jump off of the album 1984 has a line says, "Can't you see you?" Oh, let's see. Read ahead so I don't fuck this up. It's kind of hard to do. When the lyrics start in the middle of a familiar spot. Sorry about my voice. Let me get some water.
It was Eddie's birthday this week, too.
Oh, that's fitting. I didn't know that.
R.I.P.
Can't you see me gotten... I keep jumping ahead. Can't you see me standing here? I got my back against the meow, 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 meow. 2 words. Pretty well-known line. Can't you see me standing here? I got my back against the meow, 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 meow.
He's a hard one to sing to. Old David Lee Roth. I think Sammy's a little easier to sing to.
Oh, boy. You guys were close, but no cigar. Chris, just waiting on yours.
What? That's right. Can't you see I got my back against the...
Chris guessed meow, 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 nope. John Mark said Rockin' Machine. Very close. And Lyle is just as close with Wrecking Machine. It's Record Machine. As in jukebox. Can't you see me standing here? I got my back against the record machine. At least that's the version I saw.
It'll always be Wrecking Machine.
Always be Wrecking Machine in your heart.
Big old four-wheel drive truck he's leaning against.
I think this is one of those things that comes down to me for like hearing it one way and going, what's he fucking saying? And then maybe reading some like lyrics online that were translated incorrectly or transcribed or transposed incorrectly.
It could be.
Who fucking knows, you know?
I'm cross-checking that right now to see if it's one of those misheard lyrics. Here is one.
There's so many songs that I remember learning and then singing it the way I thought it was, and then going back and then like you're saying, reading the tablature and reading the real words they're trying to sing. Completely opposite, or they're not even close to what you thought they were. But you have to, and then you have to relearn them the right way. It's like, oh fuck, better off Eddie Vedder.
Wrapped up like a douche, another runner in the night. Nope, not wrapped up like a douche. All the ones that I'm seeing are saying that the proper one, there's a whole bunch of different guesses, like wrecking, rocking, racking, but the proper one looks to be record machine. And that's one I thought when I was a kid, because I always imagined it would be a jukebox. So,
well,
the record
it could
machine.
also be, he could also be talking about the music industry, right? Like
the record machine, the kind that you may or may not rage against.
Yeah.
All right, final
did anybody say washing machine?
Back against the washing machine.
My wife
might as well dry.
Just got a lot more sexy.
Go ahead and fluff. All right, final question.
Go ahead and hump.
This one is worth.
How many people have had sex on a washing machine? I have.
Yeah, I have too. In that same apartment that I lost my Huey letter. I was losing my Huey letter on the washing machine. Okay, so Chris and John Mark are tied with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Lyle has 5. So let's make this one a 2-pointer to try to avoid a tie here. This is yes. They had shed some of their prog sort of psych space rock roots to have some massive hits in the 80s. The biggest one being Owner of a Lonely Heart. So complete this line here. Owner of a lonely heart, much better than a... Now, I'm going to need all 5 words to complete that. I'll do it again with the meows in place. Owner of a lonely heart, much better than a meow, 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 meow.
Yeah, that's great. Meow, meow.
All right.
Oh, damn it.
Well, shit.
That's supposed. That first one's supposed to be the other thing.
Well,
you're this.
Yeah, gotcha. You're all right with owner of a broken heart. But the problem is we still got a tie with John, Mark, and Christopher. So how to do this? Okay, how about this? Text me your answers, just John, Mark, and Christopher. True or false? The song In-A-Gadda-Da-Vida, the name came from Iron Butterfly being too drunk the singer being too drunk to properly sing In the Garden of Eden. True or false? I said false. Sometimes I say false, as Sarah has pointed out, as opposed to false.
It's okay. I think I said true or false during my Star Wars recap.
Well, fucking hell, you both got true. You both won. How about that?
Cool.
There's no prize here. We're not playing for anybody. So you guys did
High
good
five.
on that. Yeah, you only missed a couple.
Oh, yeah. I normally suck at those.
Much better than losing more than a couple. Yeah, I like the meow edition. A little hybrid from the Name That Meow. I will do a whole episode of Name That Meow for you guys at some point, which I don't think we've done on this show. But that's a little harder on the old throat. Surprisingly tough to meow lyrics. Anyway, should we get on to some weird trivia?
Yes, please.
This time, Ron Compostine. He said, I mostly got the name right. I'm hoping that was the Virgin. Oh boy, here come the whiskey. He snuck in there first this week, so he gets the coveted John Mark seed. which I now realize is an awkward phrase. He said, great episode. Ron got my name mostly correct. David Prowse, by the way, was in Frankenstein and the Monster from Hell. So he corrected me on that bit of trivia. And goes on to say, also, there is a Creepshow series on Shudder. They just did an animated holiday special, and I think the second season is coming later this year. You know, I started it, and I just wasn't in the mood for what it was. What I wanted it to be was like a full-on animated special, but it was one of those sort of like animated graphic novels. And I don't know. I wasn't in the mood to look at that.
There's a Creepshow on Shudder that's just like episodes of a TV show.
Yeah, I haven't seen the series. I'd be down to check that out. But the animated special that I watched, I was stoked on it because it looked like it was just going to be, like I said, a straight ahead animated special. But motion graphic novel, I don't know, that leaves a lot to be desired. You got to really do that interestingly to hold my attention. But next up was Cheryl, longtime listener Cheryl. Like that girl. Lyle will be championing her. Lucky you. Didn't quite get me. She said, Chris mentioned the Cook's bottle and said he had glanced at it and thought about trying it. She's talking about an older episode. I cut off some of the quote accidentally. On a previous episode, we were talking about my aversion to canned goods. She said it fired up this talk about home canned items that were given to Ron and how he doesn't trust it because if not sealed properly, it can lead to botulism, which is true. And she says, which can lead to paralysis and death.
I have thrown shit out of my cupboard because of you.
Yeah, I kind of feel bad for anyone wasting food, but she goes on to... This is, I think, the overall point that should be driven home, because on that initial episode I shouted, and for what? Green beans? No thanks. And that's my stance to this day. It's like, yeah, even if it's some like tasty salsa or some pickles, yeah, I'm not risking paralysis and death on your veggies that you canned for me 6 years back.
Yeah.
She said she laughed so hard at that time. Now, if someone mentions how much anything costs, I say, for what? Green beans? No thanks. And walk away smiling, knowing they have no idea what the fuck I'm talking about. Thank you for that, Cheryl. I appreciate that you have taken on that as a phrase, and I may take it back as a phrase that will leave people scratching their head. But Lyle will be playing in your honor. And now for that Unforge slot, which is a band name if I ever heard one. Jacob Roberts commented with, great episode, loved the Star Wars trivia. Thanks, Jacob. Yeah, we got some pretty good feedback on Star Wars trivia. Sounded like a lot of people did pretty well. So
it was a fun one.
Thanks, everybody. This is a fun way to do this, and we'll stick with it for now. So if you want us to play for you, just be one of the first 3 to comment on our weekly show post on our Facebook page. And you're in.
If somebody comments once and we use them, are they eligible again? Is that the way, or are we just taking fresh people that haven't actually been in yet?
For now, let's say that they're eligible again. But
okay. If they haven't won, how's that? If they haven't been the winner that's picked for the, you know what I mean?
Yeah, because I feel like everyone's got a pretty good shot of seeing it and getting on it, but. Yeah, we'll eliminate any winners for a while, maybe, so we don't have repeats of that. For the championships, is that what you're saying?
Yeah, exactly.
That works for me. We'll figure it out as we go. But yeah, for now, you can double up on it. But let's see what we got.
Okay, so Ron's going to be playing for Jacob. John Mark will be playing for Ron. And Lyle will be playing for Cheryl. I got that correct?
That's perfect.
Okay, cool. All right, well, without further ado, y'all ready for this?
Got a mouthful of pipe smoke.
I bet it was. Mouthful of something. All right. We're going to start tonight's questions off with a listener-submitted question. So that means it's worth 2 points. A huge thank you to Andrea Newburn for sending this one over to me. As usual, you guys will remember these are going to be worth 2 points if they're sent to me from a listener. Okay. Thanks to a recent study by a large group of dinosaur scientists. I think they call those guys paleontologists, right? We now are able to tell a lot more about this. Is it A, how some dinosaurs were really sex workers for their species?
What?
Is it B, that more often than not, dinosaurs were engaged in some kind of incest? So a new study was released by a large group of scientists.
But you're my sister-saurus. Call her sister-saurass. What?
Is it C, that we now know more about the complete workings of a dinosaur's butthole?
Well, it would take a paleontologist to tell us about a dinosaur's butthole.
Paleontologist, or was it D, how in great detail some dinosaurs were able to masturbate?
Oh, poor T-Rex.
These are great. Oh yeah, T-Rex.
Where there's a
T-Rex
will,
ain't masturbating. He's just fucking everything in sight.
He had tiny hands but a giant dong. It wasn't a problem.
Don't worry, folks. I got it in the end, and so shall you.
I apologize if that was a little confusing. I'll recap real quick here again. Yeah. A recent study was released by a group of paleontologists that said that A, dinosaurs really had sex workers for their species. B, that more often than not, dinosaurs were engaged in some kind of incest. C, the complete workings of a dinosaur butthole are now known to us. Or D, how in great detail some dinosaurs were able to masturbate.
Wow, stuff.
Ronster, what say you, winner of last week?
I'm still hanging in. A really got me going, and I was kind of distracted the rest of the
sex worker dinosaur
part. And I was like, well, what does that even mean? And I came up with my own version of what I think it could mean. But I think it's a dumb guess, but they're all crazy. They're all kind of believable at the same time. I'm going to go with that. I'll stick with A.
All right. John Mark.
Well, I'm hoping that it's the butthole.
I'm gonna go with the brown herring and then say the butthole.
Oh, yeah.
All right. All right. Lyle.
Unless they found a way to identify, like, what am I thinking of? God damn it, fossilized jizz. Then I think we're gonna go with the butthole.
Well, I bet semen could be fossilized.
I'm sure they have.
It's just protein and DNA and dino DNA. Yeah, dino jizz. Some dinosaur just shooting his fucking load as the comets approaching. He's like, fuck you. I'm a goddamn dinosaur and I'm dying coming.
Oh, fuck. All right, question 2. Very recently, Pamela Anderson tied the knot again. Now, Pamela fell in love with her new husband during the COVID pandemic. How did she meet him? Is it A, he was her bodyguard? Is it B, she met him over the internet in a Zumba fitness class?
I can picture that.
C, he is her father's doctor.
Okay.
Or D, he delivered her groceries during lockdown.
I was hoping you'd say he delivered her. He was the midway.
I might written to see. I don't know. One of these things is true. And I do have a bonus question after that we'll ask. But the bonus question is, I'll get both from you. For a bonus point, how many times has Pamela Anderson been married? Just give me your best guess, and if you get it right,
without taking too much time to stop and think about it, I'm going to guess that she's been married 4 times, and this would be number 5. That would be my guess.
So 5 is your guess. So she's been married 5 times.
Yeah. I'd say 5 going on 6.
Okay, so you'd say this is her 6th marriage.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
John
Mark.
No. I mean, are we guessing how many times she's been married, or how she met her dude?
We're guessing both. We kind of
both, but yeah.
hijacked the last part.
I'm going to say 5.
Okay. I'm going to go ahead and give this one to you now. The correct answer was 6. And what's interesting about that is she married one guy twice.
Which one was that?
Rick Solomon. He's an American poker player.
Oh yeah, he's the one that made the sex tape with
Paris Hilton. Yeah, that's the one. Married him twice.
He only fucks
sex
famous
tapes all around.
Yeah.
Okay, but back to the original question. So how did she meet the man she just married? Was it her bodyguard, over an internet Zumba fitness class, her father's doctor, or he delivered her groceries during lockdown?
God, I can't imagine Pamela marrying the Fred Meyer delivery guy. But I want it to be that. But I'm gonna go with the dad's doctor thing. That's a really interesting poll.
Okay.
If that's out of your ass.
Mm-hmm. John Mark?
I'm gonna go with delivery guy.
Damn it.
Okay.
I guess she's tried all the rich and famous. Why not just a dude? What a weird turn of luck that would be if that was the case.
Lyle.
I'm gonna have to go with yoga instructor, Zumba instructor.
Okay. Okay.
That's a pretty typical thing too. Hooking up with your fitness instructor.
Question 3. I think I'm probably the only one in this group that's had a COVID test, I'm assuming. Has anyone else had one?
Nope.
No. Yeah, I had one. I had to go to the doctor, and I had one before that. So.
Well, they're not pleasant. They jam that thing up your nose. Or in my case, they made me self-jam.
Wasn't the worst, but...
Yeah.
I would much rather self-jam.
Yeah, self-jamming wasn't
get that
bad.
option. That'd be great.
But then I felt guilty. I was like, I must jam deeper because they're going to think I pussied out if I didn't do it proper.
You're actually doing it worse than they would have done. It's possible.
I'm not a pussy.
You feel guilt.
Well, there's a new kind of COVID test coming soon. One that's already in use in China. They say it's pretty accurate too. What might we soon be seeing here? Is it A, a fingernail clipping COVID test? Is it B, a COVID test that runs on a single booger?
No, just gotta dig in a nugget, huh?
You know what I mean? Yeah.
Booger power.
Is it C, a COVID test?
One booger, please.
A COVID test that is simply a brief smelling test.
Okay.
Or is it D, a COVID test that requires an anal swab?
Now it is I that is tempted to chase the brown herring. But I can't because I don't see that being. Now, read me your question verbatim one more time.
Okay. A new kind of COVID test may soon be coming our way, one that's already in use in China.
Okay, so we don't specify that it's faster, more accurate.
I did say it's pretty accurate.
Right, but do they, but not more accurate.
That's all I'm going to give you at this point.
Well, I think the one we got now seems, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I haven't really heard anything about its accuracy being way off, but so I have to go on what would be a better experience than getting nose raped, like Christopher was just talking about. I don't think the butthole's a better option for most of us. It certainly ain't going to do that. The drive-through versions, the booger, that's
drive-through.
That seems like, how are you going to get that puppy? You can't just pick it and put it in. That's right, with the elements for
it's like a fucking target
contamination. Yeah, the flick through. Flick and pull ahead. And the smell one, these are all confusing to me because like I don't think COVID across the board affects your smelling. It's a common one. I'm sorry, remind me A.
A was a fingernail clipping test.
All right, I'm going to go with that. That seems pretty painless and what are they going to have in a fingernail though? I don't know. I'm torn between the fingernail and the butthole at this point. I got to go fingernail. People aren't going to be going to get
Usually
their butts poked.
What's new?
I vacillate between the finger and the butt.
Go with your heart.
Yeah, I'm going. I can't in good conscience go with my heart. I got to go with fingernail clipping on this one. I'm just going for what would be the most convenient and painless.
Fair enough.
Doesn't make sense scientifically, but none of these really do.
John Mark?
Except the booger.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with fingernail as well.
Okay. Lyle?
The boog.
The boog.
Going with the booger.
Booga.
Booger! You guys ever played Booger Man? We talked about that in SNES game.
I don't
It's
know that
I might have briefly.
It's pretty fucking fun, actually. There's like, instead of Mario pipes, you go in and out of, there's like toilets all through the levels that you flush yourself and then show up at some other toilet. And you pick your nose and flick it as a weapon. Pretty ahead of its time. That was like mid-90s that I rented that game for the first time. It's on my Crackman machine, too. Boogar! He says that. He's a superhero. Booger Man.
White Zombie would be like, Boogie Man, you're my Boogie Man. Oh, I'm your old Boogie Man. Boogie Man.
Well, you got to say yeah 3 more times. How about Booger Man, band booger, 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 yeah.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
He says yeah at the end of every fucking line.
Yeah.
Go ahead and see if I ain't right.
Mm-hmm.
Him and the guy from Everclear, right? Am I right? Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know that band as well. I really only know that one. You can live beside the ocean. Yeah, they never really. I don't know.
I love
they're kind of boring.
I know like 4 of their songs, which were the ones that were on the radio all the time, but that's about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can kind of hear that though, even in that one song that I know.
He like puts in every song. It's stupid, but you
yeah.
can't get to it. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Kurt Cobain did it too. Now I'm thinking about it. Yeah. What's up with all the yeahs, man?
Yeah.
I don't think it ever occurred to me to say yeah.
He was saying hey, to be fair.
Hey. Really?
Yeah. Hey.
Huh.
Yay. He was saying hey. Yay.
If you, Ron, can you make an effort to put a solid yeah into one of your next songs for us, please?
I'm trying to figure out how I could do that. And then she died. Yeah.
Yeah.
Just talk myself into it.
Like,
that's the new shit.
Died along the way. You'd be like, yeah.
I think the problem is once you can't stop. It's just going to be lots of yeahs.
You never it's like smoking meth. Just don't do it. It's too hard to quit. Can't give up the yeahs.
You chase a dragon too much, and then you just don't know what you're doing.
Just say no to yeah.
Say no to yeah.
Just say nah.
That sounds like such a 90s catchphrase. Say no to yeah.
Yeah, just start going, nah.
Nah.
It could work. We can make it.
All right, yeah. Henceforth. Nah. Say no to yeah and yes to nah.
Gotta get it together. Okay. Last question, guys. We can look forward to an upcoming movie from Aaron Sorkin that is about the life and times of Lucille Ball. Who is set to play Lucille Ball in this upcoming film?
She's got a fascinating life story.
And I intentionally did not say at what era.
Okay.
Is it A, Millie Bobby Brown of Stranger Things?
Was that 11? Okay.
Is it B, Nicole Kidman?
Yeah.
She lost.
Yay.
Yeah.
Hey.
Hey. Nah.
Is it C, Deborah Messing?
Who's that?
Deborah Messing. Is she still?
What was the movie?
thing?
She was in that show with the Will and Grace.
Will and Grace, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Or is it D, Kristen Wiig? of SNL thing.
She was in everything for a while.
Yeah.
Boy, wow, that was interesting.
The new
list.
Ghostbusters.
Well,
she was in Wonder Woman.
Yeah, I think I could see Nicole Kidman doing, middle-aged to latter-day Lucille, but I'm trying to think of what would be the most interesting parts of her life. It could be when she was actually running that studio, but that would have been back in the 60s. Like I've told the story, I told it when Vic Mignogna was on the show about how Lucille Ball saved Star Trek. It wasn't going to happen because they were bankrupting the studio. It was her studio. She liked all the guys, even though it was bankrupting her own studio. She had an idea about the studio where she's like, once Desi died, she didn't really want to do it. She just wanted to be home with their kids and just kind of act when she could. I feel like that would put her closer to, well, maybe that would be around. I'm going to go Nicole Kidman. I was really close to going with 11 because she's the hot Hollywood commodity right now, more than those others. Kim, I just saw her in something. Oh, I saw her in that Fox News movie, which I thought was interesting. It was good. It was weird. It's worth a watch. It's kind of a fun vibe, and dealing with the inner workings of being a woman in the newsroom was really interesting. I don't know how realistic it is, but yeah, I'll go with Nicole Kidman.
Okay. Joe Mark?
I want to say Nicole Kidman, but I'm going to go with Kristen Wiig.
Okay.
Yeah.
Lyle?
Mm-hmm.
I can see her playing that pretty well too.
Like
especially
three
when
of
she's hamming it up.
3 of them I like. 2 of them I don't know, and then one of them I was like, nay. No, I don't think you should go. Honestly, the only person I could think of, like visually, like, hey, guess what? If you lost a little bit of weight and you got that red,
Lyle.
No, dude, Lucille Ball was like really, really thin. She was super, super thin.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm gonna go with Nicole Kidman. I think she would fucking nail it.
But are you saying that Nicole Kidman would need to lose weight to play Lucille?
Well,
She's
I don't
pretty
know.
skinny.
Oh, I haven't seen her now, but like last time.
Have you seen her lately, dude?
She's pretty skinny in that fucking.
I don't watch TV.
That Fox News. I can't think of the name of it. Bombshell. That's what.
No, last time I seen her, it was years ago.
Well, she ain't a fatty, even by Hollywood standards. But yeah, well, that was a tough one. This whole game was tough. Not feeling strong for you, Jacob, but we'll see.
Let's see how we did here. Question 1. A listener submitted question, which means it is worth 2 points.
Yeah. It's a key one.
Okay.
Excuse.
Let's see. Thanks to a recent study by a large group of dinosaur scientists. I don't know why I gotta say it like that every time. It's truly don't. It's an unrecognizable accent. I like to do.
Hearing it come out of my own mouth.
We are now able to tell a lot more about dinosaur buttholes. We had one perfectly preserved apparently, and they were able to gather a large amount of information from it.
Are they like sphincters, like kind of like what we got? Are they like they got like hacks? Are there like booby traps? What would tell us?
A series of spikes.
Okay, hold on. I had the article saved here for you. Want me to just dive into it, guys? It's long and it's boring.
See if you can find like the juiciest.
Here we are.
Intended paragraph.
It starts with a nice setting. When a dog-sized Pistosaurus was living out its days on Earth, it was probably concerned with mating, eating, and not being killed by other dinosaurs. It would never have crossed its mind that 120 million years later or so, scientists would be peering intensely up its clacker. I think that tells you everything you need to know, guys.
What am I spying with my good eye?
They found a preserved dinosaur butthole.
Pretty much.
It's a bizarro fiction book ready to be written. That's a Carlton Mellick III book ready to be written.
My question is, 1, did they find corn? 2, could they tell if he wiped back to front or front to back?
It depends on where the enemy's chasing them from, I suppose.
How advanced were they?
I figured they'd be more of a skidder, you know. You just it'd be forced back front to back.
Kiss says a lot too in their songs.
John Mark has 2 points, and Lyle has 2 points.
Fuck, I'm already in trubs. Those 2 pointers, man.
Let's see where it goes. Very recently, Pamela Anderson tied the knot again for the 6th time, which Lyle gets a point for, because he got correct, which puts him up at 3 already. Danger zone. She met her boyfriend during the her now husband, during quarantine. He was her bodyguard.
Oh, shit.
They spent a lot of
no one guessed that,
together.
did they?
No one guessed that. It was a whiff.
The delivery guy would be an amazing story, wouldn't it? It's like,
so good.
Like, holy shit, I delivered Pamela Anderson's groceries. And
he brought me celery and took my heart.
And now I'm paying.
Okay.
I brought her vegetables, including eggplant. No.
There is a new COVID test that China's using quite frequently. And unfortunately, Ron, it's going to go the opposite direction of the comfort you were seeking.
Here we go.
It is the anal swab COVID test, and apparently it's a lot more accurate than nose swabs or anything else they do. So that's why they're starting to use that over there. And,
I lost this game by not going to the butthole twice. Twice in one game. And one of them was a twofer.
In your life? Yeah. A twofer,
I'm
literally.
I gotta get back to my game. I got cocky. Thought I knew how to do things.
Yeah, you won 2 in a row.
Threw in 2 brown herrings. You fuck. You just couldn't have it. Couldn't have Ronsters. Like, you know what? 2, bitch. 2 brown herrings, and one of them's a dinosaur.
Number 2. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. Damn it.
You flew a little too close to the brown-holed sun.
You know, brown-holed sun.
Don't you go.
Wash it all away.
Yeah.
Nay.
Shuddering, golden down.
Nobody got that right again. Boom. 2 in a row, bitches. Yeah. Whiffs. All right. Lastly, question 4. We can look forward to an upcoming movie from Aaron Sorkin that is about the life and times of Lucille Ball and her husband. Who is set to play Lucille Ball in the upcoming film? The answer was Nicole Kidman.
Oh, that one's worth 4 points. So Ron wins. Hey, congratulations, Jacob.
Correct 2 and 4.
Oh, damn it.
Well, rounded out with 4 fucking points in the end.
Wow.
To crush you guys. I nearly crushed you guys.
Crushed. Well, he crushed for Cheryl, so that makes me happy. She's been a long-time listener.
Yeah. Atta girl, Cheryl.
I'm going to have to go with saying thank you, everybody. I played this game for Cheryl, and she's a winner. Everybody else is a loser, and I'm going to retire.
Ron, can you play them off now? Can you just start music?
Meow, meow, meow. Meow, meow, meow.
Nay.
Yeah. Well, it looks like we're doing the right thing. John Mark still statistically is, it'll be light years before we catch up to that. But Lyle has definitely been a hot contender of late. So things have been interesting. So if you want better odds, you got to get to that Facebook page. Make sure you do all the things you got to do. Facebook changes their shit so often. Just research how you can make sure you don't miss any of our posts on the Facebook page, so you know exactly when that's popped up, because you want to be first or second.
And eventually, I'm sure we'll finesse how this works. But right now, it's kind of fun to see those people jumping on early. So.
Yeah, I think so too. This might get old or get repetitive quickly, so we'll figure something else out. But for now, this is how we'll do it.
Bum.
Yeah.
All right, y'all. Well, that was fun. And you guys, everyone did good except for me. I did not do good at News Quiz at all. Got 1 question, but you all did good with News Quiz and the lyrics game. We'll start doing that more frequently. It's nice. It's a fun one. It's easy to throw together. And I do like the meow addition. I think that does help.
Yeah.
Imagine how the lilts go. All right, y'all. Well, tune in next week. We will talk about 9/11. And until then.
Wait. Give me half meow, half TIE fighter sound.
Oh, boy.
Boy, I already got a dry throat.
Oh, God.
Wow. Far surpassed patience.
Vocal cords are just looking at each other, shaking their heads. Like, he's destroying us for this? For green beans?
Love it.
All right, you guys, have a good week. See y'all soon.
All right.
Bye.
Good night.
Much better than a meow, 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 meow.
Yeah, that's great. Meow meow.